the scripture this morning. Families are a wonderful thing. Families are beautiful things that God has given us. And they're fun. Families are truly fun, especially the family get-togethers. They're a blast. But as we all know, families can also be very frustrating too. Families are wonderful, but yet frustrating in the same point. Because whether your family's big or small, blended, traditional, it doesn't make a difference what your family is. You know that family can be trying. Family can be difficult. And it sometimes seems to draw out the worst in each other. We go up to, last summer, we went up to my dad and mom's house, and my brother was there too, and there are 3 families in this household. And by 3 or 4 days are done, we're all at our end, within, ready to go home, because it's we're just on each other's nerves all the time. It's just, families are so wonderful, but it's so nice to get home sometimes. Families in small towns kind of have things in common. They're funny things. Word spreads so quickly through them. Sherry and I have experienced this right after, the 15th, Sherry and I gave our resignation. And it wasn't even a day or 2 later. And everybody that I go to around town, the bank and post office, everybody's like, I hear you're leaving us. I'm like, wow, that was fast. Word seems to spread so quickly through them. It seems like everybody knows everything about everybody. Some things never change. Flip with me to Mark 6. Chapter 6, verse 1. We're going to take a look at this little 6 verses. Not very big, not very small, but jam-packed with a story. Mark 6, verse 1. He went away from there and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard it were astonished. Where did this man get these things, they said. What is this wisdom given to him, and how are these miracles performed by his hands? Isn't this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? And aren't his sisters here with us? So they were offended by him. Then Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his household. So he was not able to do any miracles there, except he laid his hands on a few sick people and healed them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. I love this passage. It speaks volumes in 6 verses. It talks so much about this small town mentality, or it may not even just small town, it's a community mentality. Even in Quincy, you've got the various communities where everybody congregates. And it seems like everybody knows everybody. Jesus was from this town called Nazareth, born in Bethlehem, from Nazareth. Everybody knew Jesus. He was little Jesus. He grew up just down the street. Joseph and Mary's boy. See, everybody knows Jesus. Everybody knew him. He grew up just down the street. Everybody knew him. They knew his parents, his siblings, his family. They knew everything that there was to know about him. Or at least they thought they knew everything there was to know about him. To them, he was the boy that just grew up right down the street. He went back there on a Sabbath, and every town had a little synagogue, a little place of worship, not a temple, but a synagogue, a little place of worship. And he went back there, and he was teaching in the synagogue, and more than likely he was probably expounding on the law and prophets, as he was known to do. And he's sitting there teaching. And these people are going, who is this guy? hear the rumors and gossip flying around the town? Oh yeah. See, they thought they knew all about Jesus. They had heard about the various miracles that he'd been performing in the other towns. And they're like, we know this guy. How is he performing miracles? You see, in verse 3, after they started asking these questions, they started hurling insults. Verse 3 says, isn't this the carpenter? In other words, this guy isn't a rabbi. He's not a teacher of the law. He's a carpenter. He's nobody, in other words. Or at least so they thought. He was just a carpenter, the son of Mary. In the Jewish culture, that is a calculated and hurled insult. Because in the Jewish culture, they are always identified by their father, not their mother. And by saying, isn't this the son of Mary? That's a calculated insult. Now at this point, Joseph could possibly have been dead already. But nonetheless, even if he was passed on, they would have probably still referred to him as the son of Joseph, as they did in the beginning of Matthew. He begat this guy and all this stuff lined out. So they still identify with their father. It is an insult. Sort of a derogatory comment. The hometown crowd always seems to be the biggest critics. They know the background of that person. They know what this person has been through. They know who they are. And unfortunately, since they know so much, it blocks the perception of him. You see, they thought they knew Jesus. They thought they knew that he was an illegitimate child. They thought they knew that he was only a carpenter. They thought that he wasn't a teacher. They thought. But the problem is they were wrong. You see, they didn't understand that Jesus was the child of God. He's not an illegitimate child. He's God's son. He's there to proclaim and fulfill the law. He is there to teach things about how they're supposed to be. And how much we need him. You see, their knowledge blocked their perception of Christ. And Jesus uses this. And he kind of contrasts here. Look at verse 4. Then Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his household. It is a contrast to the nation of Israel who denied, killed, rebuked, and mocked prophet after prophet after prophet after prophet. God sends prophets to them. They reject them. They mock them. They kill them. And Jesus is no different. They mocked him. They ridiculed him. And they killed him. He is a prophet of God. And he was rejected by most of the Jews and his hometown. Quite simply, they couldn't see past the physical. They couldn't see past the physical to the point of the spiritual, which they needed to see. Verse 5, so he was not able to do any miracles there, except he laid his hands on a few sick people and healed them. Jesus didn't perform any miracles there simply because they didn't have the faith. They didn't have the faith. They didn't believe he was who he said he was, which is why the miracles wouldn't have worked in the first place. If you go through the Bible and you look at all of the miracles, I guarantee you that every single one of them will tie to faith. The faith of the centurion is healed because these people had no faith, he can't work among them. If we have faith in God, God can and will work miracles. And let me tell you, those miracles sometimes don't look like we think they are going to look. Which is why we then subsequently we don't have faith. Well, I prayed for this. Well, maybe you were praying for the wrong thing. Maybe you need to pray for God's will instead of praying for what you want. That's a hard pill to swallow. See, Jesus was among his family and his relatives in his hometown. And because of the history he had, it blocked the work that he could do. Jesus healed a few sick people that did have faith. But more than anything, Jesus was amazed at their unbelief. If we want Jesus to be amazed at something, unbelief is not it. That's not what we want Jesus to be amazed at. But he was astonished at their lack of faith. My question to you this morning is, have you ever identified with Jesus? Because the hometown crowd seems to be the one that's the toughest. The family, the friends, the hometown. You have somebody that you've been trying to reach forever, it seems like, and yet there's nothing that you can do to get through to them. Imagine how Christ felt. The people that were closest to him, he couldn't reach because of their lack of faith. Some of them, I would like to think, came to faith via somebody else. Sometimes the person that's closest to them is not able to reach. Sometimes the person that you are closest to isn't going to be reached by you. It's going to be somebody outside of the circle of influence. Maybe because of the knowledge they have about you. Because how many times do we as humans go off and we get so self-righteous? Oh, I can't believe he did that. That is a blatant sin. Remove the log from your eye before you go and talk about the speck in somebody else's. In other words, what you do could be blocking the ministry work that God is trying to do through you. Your actions matter. Your actions matter. And if that is truly what is going on, then we have to watch how we behave. Jesus was perfect. There was nothing that Jesus did that was sinful. He was perfect. He was the only man without sin. And yet even the people that were closest to him couldn't come to him because they didn't have faith. It's about faith. This walk, it's not about a building. It's not about the pew. It's not about stained glass windows or the pictures or the decorations or the sacred cows that we hold on to, like when to do communion in the service or how often to do it or what baptism signifies or how the relationship between the law and Christ really play out. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's Christ. Christ is what matters. That's the only thing that matters. And if we go off thinking that it's anything but, then unfortunately, my friends, we are hopelessly misguided. It is Jesus who is the one that can do work in us if only we would let him. If you're having difficulty reaching somebody in your circle of influence, my suggestion is to pray. Pray them back. Because let me tell you what, it's what brought me back. It was somebody outside of my circle of influence that brought me back. My family didn't do it. It wasn't my family. then to be wife. Sometimes it's somebody that's outside of the circle of influence that needs to bring them back. Pray. 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 Because the power of a righteous man is unequaled. We just studied that in James this morning, in James 5. The power of a righteous man is wonderful. You see, the hometown crowd are always the toughest critics. And sometimes the most we can do is pray for that individual. Sometimes that's all we can do. And if the opportunity presents itself, plant seeds. Don't let that negate you from doing your duty. Because sometimes it's seeds that get planted over time. Sometimes it takes an entire lifetime for people to come back. There are people that make deathbed confessions who have strayed away when they were young. Sometimes it takes a lifetime. You know, we talked a few weeks back about Cain and Abel. You know, God exacted his judgment. Genesis 3:19, you will eat bread by the sweat of your brow until the day you return to the dust, because it was dust from which you were taken. We've been condemned to death because of the sinful nature. But the good news is that you do not have to die spiritually. You don't have to die spiritually. You will die physically. That is a guaranteed. You will die physically. But you don't have to die spiritually. Because Jesus paid it all. He paid it all. So that you can have a relationship with God that is active and overflowing with abundant joy. You ever have encountered a new believer? They have this joy about them that it's like, what in the world is coming over that guy? He is not who I used to be. He's not the guy he used to be. Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for him, Johnny? Yeah, that's it. At this time, I want to offer the altar. Maybe not for you this morning. Maybe it's for somebody you know. Maybe you need to come up and kneel on the altar and lay somebody before God that you want to see come to him. I guarantee there's every one of us have got somebody that we know. I can name several that I would love to see come to Christ that just don't get it. Come and lay your cares, lay your worries at the altar. If you have not made a relationship with Jesus, if you have not made that confession, if you have not acknowledged that relationship, my urging to you is that you do so today. Because need I remind you of Aurora, Colorado? Who thought that when you went to the opening of The Dark Knight, or the riot, what's the name of that movie? It's a Batman, it's the new Batman movie. Dark Knight Rises or something like that. Who thought when you went to a midnight showing that some dude was going to come in there and shoot everybody? You don't know. And my urging, if it isn't for that situation, is not only do we pray for the victims, but we pray for the shootee, the guy who did the shooting. Pray for that guy. Pray for his salvation. And I pray for your salvation, that you come to a saving grace and knowledge of Jesus Christ.